reality is reality real? Well, duh, reality is real. But have you ever really thought about it? The truth about reality, the truth about this universe. Over the past couple of months, I have radically changed about as a person. I used to be a nihilist, someone who thought there was no meaning in life, and at once we die. That's it. Nothing else. There's no true meaning in this existence. And it's funny how Val before I used to believe there was some meaning. So somewhere down the line, I believed there was no meaning in life. Again, but I'm going to tell you the true nature of reality, and this will blow your mind. This will utterly change you. Okay? I know this will get less. I know these videos get far less views than the Smash Bros. Videos, but these videos are going to have definitely much better legs than the Smash Bros. Videos. Because it is the truth. The truth is separate from the lies. That reality is the biggest illusion, the biggest lie in the entire universe. Okay? I already explored many things. But this reality is simply a video game. Yep, you heard me right. This reality is simply a video game. What do you mean by this reality is simply a video game? What the hell are you talking about? Well, have you ever heard? It is also similar to what people have called the simulation hypothesis, the simulation theory, that we all live in a computer-generated simulation. But what if I told you that this simulation is not created by a highly intelligent alien race, that we are the ones simulating reality? We, as conscious God beings, are simulating this reality. Okay? You gotta understand. First of all, we are eternal beings. Okay? All of us. All of the animals, all of the plants, all of the life forms in the universe are eternal beings. We're all eternal beings of pure energy, pure and utter energy. Okay? This reality is simply the biggest illusion of them all. Reality is simply the biggest illusion out of them all. Okay? For example, let's just use a video game for example. Okay? Mario does not know he is in a video game. Okay? But let's just use Deadpool for example. Deadpool on this world is higher because Deadpool knows he is in a video game. Another example is the movie The Matrix. Okay? Yeah, you know the movie The Matrix. But instead, we are the ones creating the Matrix. We are the ones creating the Matrix. Okay? We are the ones creating the Matrix. We are the ones creating the Matrix. Okay? So I'm going to put out a lot of concepts for you. So first of all, there is one being, one source where all energy comes from. And that is God, Source, the collective, or the absolute. All of these terms describe the same thing. A being of absolute power that is full of energy, full of love, and knows everything and all things in the universe. This is basically God. Okay? God is basically a collective of energy. Okay? Eternal energy, because energy cannot die. There is no such thing as energy dying. Energy dying is impossible, which is why the Big Bang is the biggest fake of all time, because the Big Bang basically violates the conversation of energy, because according to the Big Bang, something came from nothing, which violates the law of conversation of energy, because energy must exist for there to be, for there to be something. Okay, which is why the Big Bang hypothesis or theory is fake, and why the simulation theory is far more accurate, far more truthful, or I call it the video game theory, it's basically the same thing, is far more accurate than the standard cosmological belief that we all live in. Okay, this reality is a simulation created by us. We are the gods experiencing this simulation. This simulation is an experience of all of us. All life forms are in this collected simulation. Okay, there is a reason why we reincarnate on this planet. We reincarnate on this planet simply because we have to learn and evolve throughout the simulation. Just think of a game like Spore. Okay, Spore is a video game where you basically create your own race, your own life forms, and these things live and die. Okay, it is just like that. Okay, and again, each race in Spore has their culture, has their culture and traditions and beliefs as well. Okay, each culture has their own traditions. For example, all religions are different. Okay, all religions are man-made. This is why, like, when I was like 12 to 14, I stopped believing in mainstream religion. Because I knew mainstream religion was not the answers to the world. Okay, mainstream religion is not the answers to how the world works. Okay, if you want the true answers to how the world works, you should really which is what I have been doing over the past months, is researching stuff like this. Okay, researching the true nature of reality. Okay, not the phony, materialist theories that science always backs, which is why a lot of scientists still believe, and a lot of people online, which is where the whole atheist movement comes from, is that they believe that consciousness is created by the brain. Okay, but consciousness has always existed alongside energy. Consciousness is simply a form of energy. Okay, it is a form of energy that is aware of itself. Okay, all beings have consciousness in some form. Okay, all creatures have feelings and emotions. They're all on a different level and on a different frequency than us humans. Okay, again, I'm gonna say this in my video again. Tesla knew about this 100 years ago. Okay, that the secret of the universe is within frequencies, energetic frequencies. It seems that the more and even Einstein started to realize this too. The more I learn about science, more science I learn, more about God. More I believe in God. Okay, because the smartest people know the truths. Okay, again, materialism cannot explain consciousness, which is where the hard part of consciousness has come from. Okay, the hard part of consciousness. Okay. Again, one of the biggest questions is, why is there something instead of nothing? Okay, the question is very simple. Energy. Energy cannot die. Okay, so that's why there's something instead of nothing. Okay, energy does not die. Okay, if you can get that through your head, especially atheists, then they realize that death is essentially the greatest illusion of all time. Okay, for example, playing a video game. What happens when you die in a video game? You respawn. Okay, very simple. Okay, and the same thing happens in real life. Okay, there are kids who have recalled past life memories. Okay, people have recalled pre-birth memories. So there is some kind of spawn room, some kind of hub that we all go to when we die. We all go to the same place, which is the central hub of this universal game. Okay, life is essentially a video game. Okay, people say, "Oh, that's stupid. You're just acting like a crazy person." Life can't be a video game. But have you ever thought about it? Okay, have you ever played a game that is basically like, for example, The Sims? Okay, The Sims is a great example. Okay, The Sims. What do The Sims do? They live. They grow up. They get old. And they die. That's like us. Okay? We created our own virtual lives in The Sims. Okay, and various other similar games. Okay? For example, Minecraft. What happens when you die in Minecraft? You respawn. Okay, this world is essentially one giant video game. And once people realize this, once people realize that this is the truth, reality is just simply just a big illusion. Reality is not real because we, as immortal beings, are come out of this reality once we die and come back into the dream reality, trying to learn something new from each incarnation. Okay, we come back. Okay, there's a reason why people get addicted to games. Okay, and even movies as well. Okay, how we can sit still for so long watching a movie or playing a video game. Okay, when we could be doing something productive instead of playing a video game or movie or going to a theater. How I can sit there for so long. Okay, that is because reality is simply just a video game. Reality is simply fake. Okay, a simulation. Okay, and how does the simulated reality work? What are the natural laws of this simulation? Okay, that we create. It's not aliens. We create the simulation. Okay, we create the simulation through our minds. Okay, we are much more powerful than you think we are. Okay, once we're out of the simulation, we're able to create our own realities. Okay, once we're out of this simulated world, okay, we are able to create our own perfect realities. But we can't stay there forever because we have not progressed enough in the video game. Okay, progressed enough in the video game. That's what I mean by the reincarnation. And technically, reincarnation is eternal because eventually, you know, it's the water cycle. Eventually, you go back to the source. You basically become one, but you're still not. You don't cease to exist. You're still a part of the energy. You still exist, but you're part of the collective. You're part of the absolute. You're part of the collective consciousness. Okay, you are a part of it, and then eventually you come back up, and and the cycle continues forever. Again, okay, I can't pronounce the name. The theory of eternal recurrence is essentially true. Then, then, so eventually I will live again. Okay, eventually I will live again, and eventually everybody else will probably live again, essentially, which is eternal recurrence. But there's another theory that it is an eternal recurrence, and it is entirely different new incarnations each time. And you have thousands of incarnations. You have thousands and thousands and thousands of different incarnations in this illusion that we call reality. In this illusion that we call reality, this reality simply does a big, massive illusion. Okay, what is used? For example, I made a video about dreams. What are dreams? Okay, dreams are you exiting this reality for a short amount of time. Okay, you're exiting the simulation for a brief amount of time. Okay, it is a spiritual thing. Okay, you acquire the dream because this is your own personal dream reality. This is your own personal dream reality, and once you realize that dreams are proof that we create our own realities, okay, once you realize that that is the truth, you'll realize. And again, lucid dreaming. Okay, lucid dreaming is essentially a state of dreaming where we become conscious. But you can't be conscious while you're unconscious. That lucid dreaming already violates the materialist system. It already violates the materialist system that they have been putting on you in schools and colleges. Okay. Same thing with out of body experiences as well, and astral projection especially, which people have been doing for a long time, but yet science still insists that the brain creates consciousness, which is still, I am just dumbfounded. Okay, to me, that theory is just as stupid as flat Earth theory, but people will still believe it. Okay, Okay, people will still believe that. So once we die, it is essentially like exiting out of the video game. Okay, okay, you die in a video game. Okay, you die in a video game. Okay, what happens when you die in a video game? Okay, you go back to world select. Okay, especially it's an open world game. Okay, let's just imagine Skyrim. You had one life in Skyrim. If you die, you go back to the menu and you create a new character. That is essentially what reincarnation is. Okay, you go back to the menu, or just these MMOs, for example. You go back to the menu, you go back to, or the, hub, central hub, okay, and you pick your new character, and you come back in, okay. Life is essentially a simulated reality that is created by our consciousness, okay. Consciousness cannot be created or destroyed. That's like energy, because consciousness is energy. Energy cannot die, and this universe, we believe that this is all there is, okay? Because we're tricked into the illusion, we're tricked into the hallucination, okay? Some people say, again, another stupid claim is that, oh, near-death experiences are just a big hallucination. But what if the real hallucination, no, the real hallucination, not what if, the real hallucination is reality. Okay, that's the real hallucination. That's the real hallucination. Okay, we have to go back into this hallucination and experience this throughout lifetimes. Okay, this illusion, this hallucination that we have to go back to, which is reality. Reality is the hallucination, not near-death experiences. That's why science tries to keep saying it's just a hallucination, it's just a thing of the brain. That's because reality is the hallucination. Reality is just simply the hallucination. It's the illusion. Okay, death is the biggest illusion of all time. Okay, it is essentially just the biggest illusion of all time, because there is no such thing as death, because energy does not die. Your soul does not die. Okay, your frequency does not die. Okay, your aura does not die either. Okay, which aura is essentially energy. Okay, which again in 2009, or they have proven that around humans there is a light energy. Okay, there is a light energy which is auras. Okay, as well. And also 4 years ago, they have proven that there is a spark of light at conception. But they still don't believe in stuff like science that says, oh, that's just all religious stuff. That's all, religious stuff. That's all hopeful. It doesn't exist. Okay? It doesn't exist. Okay? But what happens when people die? Okay? They see the light. And what happens when people are born? There is freaking light. Okay? And this is what makes me so mad when I have to when I see materialists try to push their worldview on people. Because they want to be proven right. Okay? But they don't like the other experiences, because they don't want to study it, because guess what? It proves them wrong. It proves that their communist view of the world, this communist materialist view of the world, is fake, and near-death experiences only prove that death is the biggest illusion of all time. There is no such thing as death. It is just a change of worlds. It is just a change of worlds. Again, what happens when you die in a video game? You go back to the hub world. You go back to the menu. Okay? It's the same thing, especially in MMO games, or games where it's like you have a hub world, and when you die or lose all your lives in certain video games, like for example, Mario 64, when you die in Mario 64, you go back to Peach's castle, because it's just an illusion. Okay? Mario 64, you go into the painting, which is an illusionary reality. Okay? You go back into these illusionary realities in these games. So of course reality is not real. Okay? Reality is just an illusion. It's a simulation of our minds. It is created by our minds. Okay? Our true selves, not the ego. Our true selves are imagining this reality. Is imagining this world. Is imagining this universe. Okay? We, our true selves, okay, our souls, are imagining these worlds, are imagining these worlds, are imagining these characters, these avatars that we create. Okay, your existence on this planet is simply just an avatar. It is simply just an avatar that you use. Okay, you know what happens when the avatar goes away? I already explained it. I always made it explain it. What happens when the physical avatar dies? Okay, this body is simply just an avatar. Okay, and that's what atheists continue to get wrong. This body is just a vessel or an avatar that we create. We create these avatars. Okay, we choose this life. We learn and evolve through these lifetimes. Okay, reincarnation is essentially all about evolving. It's all about evolving. Some people say it's a lot of Eastern religions say it's learning, it's school, but I say it's an evolution because what because you evolve over time. You learn through evolving. Okay, you know it's what you learn new things. You take new features. You can even get new traits and mutations. It's essentially just evolution. Okay, and a big hole in most religions. Okay, is the fact that they ignore extraterrestrial life and pre-human life. Okay, what about the dinosaurs that were before us? Because we do have physical evidence that dinosaurs did exist and all these other prehistoric creatures. Okay, we can't ignore that. So of course, and that's where religion always goes into the dead end. That's where religion always goes to the dead end. Because it doesn't account for new species that are always being created. It doesn't account for extinct species. Okay, for example, let's just use for example the woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth is an extinct species. It is dead. There's no woolly mammoths left in the world, and they're extinct. Okay, they don't exist anymore. Okay, on this planet realm, they don't exist on the physical realm anymore. Okay, they don't exist on this physical realm anymore, and there is much more to the universe than the physical realm. Okay, which again, the atheist world view does not accept that there's more than just the physical reality. Okay, so when you die, it is like you dropping out of the simulation. Okay, it is and again, consciousness is basically eternal. Okay, it is like your brain is just simply a receiver transmitting your frequencies. Okay, they're transmitting your frequencies from these higher worlds, from these higher dimensions, okay? From these higher worlds that we all originate from. Humans are multidimensional beings, okay? We are all multidimensional beings. We're all multidimensional beings means that are eternal. We are eternal, immortal, multidimensional beings. And that's why death is the biggest lie ever told. That's why reality is also one of the biggest lies ever told. This reality is simply just a big simulation. We are simulating this reality. We are simulating this reality as a whole. Okay? And of course, things I could be getting wrong as well. Okay? But once you realize that this reality is eternal, okay, and it's simply a simulation of our consciousness, okay, it's simply just a big simulation of our consciousness, okay, you'll see the full picture. You see the full picture because they realize in the game, you lose all your lives to go back to the hub world, okay, which is the spirit world. You go back to all this lots of times, and then we have the forgetting process. You forget before you're born, before you decide to enter the simulation. Again, it is a common trait in a lot of games is amnesia because they don't want you to remember, and more people are actually starting to remember before they're born. More and more people, okay, before they even were conceived, okay. But of course, science says there's hallucinations, illusions, or false memories. The same thing they always try to dismiss all this stuff, okay? Dismiss the non-physical. I believe in the next 10 years, the non-physical will be studied far more, and people will realize the truth. People will realize the truth about reality. That reality is simply just a big illusion. We are all creating this reality. We are all basically creating this big illusion that we perceive as real. We perceive these illusions as real, okay? And this going on to this reality does not make us come back to our true forms. Our true forms, which is not of this reality, which is not of this world. This planet is not your home. Your home is somewhere else. It is somewhere else in this world. Okay? But this physical world is not your true home. Okay? This physical illusionary, reality is not your true home. Okay? For example, when you die, of course, you jump out of this simulation. You jump out of the cell simulation, and what happens to your loved ones? Okay, because you're all within the cell simulation, then your loved one, your deceased loved ones, once they cross over, you essentially can create your own realities with or without your family or friends or other close people to you and you realize the truth, right? Or other close beings as well. Can't forget your pets. But if you realize that this entire world, this entire reality, is simply just one big, massive illusion, I think people will be less scared. Okay, that this reality is simply fake. There's no that reality. Okay, the case against reality. Okay, the case against this reality was it simply just an illusion. It's a simulation created by us, created by our eternal souls, our eternal minds, or souls, or energy, or however you want to call it. You are going to have to realize it, and I think science is eventually going to realize it by the end of most of our lifetimes, because the non-physical is going to be studied. And let's get starting to realize that they had to study this non-physical phenomenon. Okay, this non-physical phenomenon that they refused to study, and now they're actually studying this non-physical phenomenon. They're actually studying this non-physical phenomenon. They're at the very beginning of it, of course, but they're actually starting to discover it. For example, there's the near-death experience studies, the near-death experience, organizations that study near-death experiences and other similar experiences. It says humanity, once they start to realize that this is more than just this reality, most people who had NDEs confirm this, that this reality is just simply a big illusion. This reality is essentially a fake, reality. There's no such, this reality is essentially created by us. We create our own reality. We create our own worlds. We create and again, this world that we create called Earth is a simulated reality by our consciousness. It is a simulated reality by this consciousness, essentially. So that means yes, the simulation theory is correct. Okay, but we are the ones simulating. We are the ones simulating reality, so we can understand ourselves, so we can actualize ourselves, our true selves. Okay, we can actualize and understand our true selves. It seems that science is that we are on a breaking point, or even science is starting to admit that we're on a breaking point, and materialism is on its dead end. Scientific materialism, is on its dead way out, just like the dodo. So there we go. So the biggest illusion of all time reality. Okay, this reality is simply just an illusion. Okay, we come from somewhere else. Okay, and I bet many other ways have already figured this out long before, that reality is just simply a big illusion. So, yeah, that's basically it about this video. Goodbye.